Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining me in today's video because I have an update for you guys regarding foreclosures in the United States here. This is based on two new reports from Corelogic as well as Black Knight. I have a lot to share. Let's begin today's video. This first report is from Corelogic, just announced a few days ago on November 30th. This report here covers the month of September this year. It takes quite a while for them to compile the latest data they have for us. This report, by the way, is published on a monthly basis. And of course, I make a monthly video based on this report here. It covers delinquencies and foreclosures, both on a national level, statewide level, and also by each of the biggest cities as well. So overall, for the month of September this year compared to September last year, the overall delinquency rate of mortgages is at 2.8%. That is flat. So this more or less means that of all the loans out there, 2.8% or at least 30 days or more past due on paying their mortgage payment. According to Molly Bolsel, who's their chief economist here, she stated the following: the overall U.S. delinquency rate was unchanged from a year ago in September and remains near an all-time record low. While there was a decrease in the share of mortgages 6 months or more past due, so these are loans that are getting very close to being foreclosed on. There's a decrease in the share of people at least 6 or more months past due here. In contrast, there was an increase in early stage delinquencies. If the labor market weakens in the coming months, expect further increases in mortgage delinquencies. I think she really hit the nail on the head here, because if our labor market starts to show more signs of cracking, of course, that will increase the number of people who are late on paying their mortgage payments. And of course, that could increase foreclosures in the months ahead as well. Here's also a look at overall delinquency rates this September compared to last September by each of these buckets here. So again, overall, the rate is at 2.8%. Which is, of course, on par with last year's levels. The dark green is this September. In regards to houses that are at least 30 to 59 days past due, I should say the homeowner is late in the range of 30 to 59 days. That saw a slight increase from 1.2, now it's at 1.5%. It's flat for 60 to 89 days, flat for 90 to 119 days. However, for serious delinquency, that's at least 120 days past due, that actually decreased from 1%. Now it's at 0.7%. So a slight decrease in very late stage rates here compared to a slight increase in early stage delinquencies. So Corelogic goes on to say the following here: an overwhelming majority of homeowners with a mortgage were able to make their payments on time in September, in line with data recorded in the spring months of 2022. 15 states saw annual upticks in overall rates, with increases ranging from 0.5% to 0.1% in each of those states. So we have 15 states that saw an increase in the rate, but albeit at a very small increase in the range of 0.1 to 0.5%. Performance remains on solid ground, in part thanks to a still healthy jobs market, although it's worth noting here that the US unemployment rate increased to its highest level since January 2022 for the month of October. And that is going to be a key stat to follow regarding unemployment, because again, if unemployment increases, people lose their jobs, that of course is going to cause these rates to increase greatly as well. And then again, when people are late on paying their payments, of course, that could increase foreclosures in the months ahead as well. Now, speaking of serious delinquencies here, this is at least 90 days or more past due. Louisiana has the highest rate at 1.9%. After that was Mississippi, New York, DC, Maryland, Oklahoma, Alabama, Hawaii, Illinois, and Ohio, all in the range of 1.2 to 1.9%. And by the way, these two states right here, Louisiana and Mississippi, have been in the top 5 for quite some time. So not a lot of changes regarding the top 5 markets that have the latest or the highest share of late payments here. Here's also a look at how each of the states fared regarding their overall delinquency rate, at least 30 days or more past due. The states shaded in green here saw a slight increase compared to last year back in September 2022, or was flat. Again, there was 32 states that increased or were flat compared to 1 year ago. That's the states here in green. In contrast, the states that decreased in the range of 0 to down by 0.25% were the states here shaded in gray. The states here that actually saw the biggest decreases were actually New York as well as West Virginia, falling by 0.25 to 0.5 percentage points. Corelogic also provided how each of the metros in the United States here fared as well, because the vast majority are experiencing decreases in their overall rate. This is, by the way, looking at serious delinquencies, at least 90 days or more past due. That is right here. So there was 3 metro areas in the entire nation in which their rate actually increased. In contrast, 14 metros stayed the same compared to a year ago, whereas 357 metros experienced a decrease in their overall serious delinquency rate. Here's also a look at how each of the 10 biggest US metros fared. Some very big differences here. So Los Angeles, Long Beach, and Anaheim, California is one of the metros that has actually the smallest percentage of mortgages at least 90 days or more past due, only 0.5%. Also the Bay Area at 0.4%. Denver is also low as well at 0.5%, as well as Boston at 0.7%. In contrast, Houston, the Woodlands, and Sugarland, Texas is at 1.2%, Chicago area at 1.2% as well. Also, the Miami, West Palm Beach, Florida area is at 1.2%. We also have New York and Newark, New Jersey City at 1.5%, the highest share amongst these 10 biggest US metros. Okay, let's change gears slightly here and talk about a new report from Black Knight, which covers the month of October here. So the national delinquency rate fell 3 basis points or 0.03 percentage points in October to 3.26%. That's marking a 9 basis point improvement from the same time last year. This means in October last year, the rate was at 3.17%. Now it's at 3.26%. They also talk about how serious delinquencies, at least 90 days or more past due, actually fell to 447,000, once again hitting the lowest levels since the year of 2006. So a huge decrease in the amount of people who are very late on paying their payments here. Despite this improvement though, in delinquencies, foreclosure starts actually increased to 33,000 in October, hitting the highest levels in about 18 months. Active foreclosure inventory also increased, up by 3,000 to 217,000, but still remains about 25% below pre-pandemic levels. Black Knight, or ICE, says that while foreclosure starts rose in October, near-term risk remained muted, with serious delinquencies historically low, and more than 70% of such loans that are late are protected from foreclosure by loss mitigation efforts, such as mortgage loan forbearance. They also provided the top 5 states that have the highest rates of non-current loans. Mississippi led the nation once again at 7.91%. After that was Louisiana at nearly 7.5%. Then we had Alabama at 5.6%, Indiana at 5.11%, and Arkansas at 5.03%. All 5 of these states here are well above the national average at 3.26%. In contrast, here are the top 5 US states that have the lowest share of late payments here. Colorado led the nation at 1.91%. After that was Washington, that was Washington State, Montana, Idaho, and California. California is at 2.14%. What really catches my attention here is the peak. that was set for the most part back in 2010, except for Washington back in January 2012. But look at California at 2.14% right now. That's a decrease from last year, down by 1.81%. But look at the peak. The peak was set back in February of 2010 when we were at 16.09%. That was when we had a flood of foreclosures nationwide, and of course in California here as well. 16.09 compared to only 2.14% right now. Idaho, 2.14%. The peak was at 10.55%. Now here's something wild as well. Here's a look at the top 5 states that had the high share of mortgages at least 90 days or more past due. Mississippi led the nation at 2.11%. After that was Louisiana, Alabama, Arkansas, and Georgia. Look at these year-over-year changes though. This is October last year compared to October this year. Mississippi, even though it's in the #1 spot here, it has decreased by 20.55% from October of 2022. Obviously, when we see a decrease in the rate, this means that there's fewer people who are late on paying their mortgages here. It's also important to note here that in Mississippi, the peak of this rate was at 10.43%, set back in December of 2005. That's really due to Hurricane Katrina. Same goes for Louisiana, set during the same month at 13.54%. Well below the peak and not too far off the all-time record lows that was set back in May of 2000. So please leave me a comment below with your thoughts regarding this latest housing market report regarding foreclosures and delinquencies. My biggest takeaway is that because our labor market is still fairly strong, it's showing some early signs of some cracks. Because of all this, of course, because home prices have been increasing so much over the past several years, to me, it makes sense that overall the rates are still fairly low. But as the chief economist of Corelogic had to say, because the unemployment rate increased to the highest level since January of 2022, back in October, if we continue to see some further signs of our labor market softening, more people losing their jobs, of course, the numbers I'm sharing in today's video will look worse in the months ahead here. But of course, time will tell, and I'll definitely keep you posted with the latest developments. Hope you guys got a lot of value in today's video. I appreciate you. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.